for Whiteboard Wednesday. Here comes the first oxymoron of our show for 2025. Under the radar storylines of the Super Bowl. It's kind of hard to do because when there's two teams left and we have 2 weeks to talk about Super Bowl 59, feels like all the storylines are squarely on the radar. But try to find one, please. Under the radar thing you want to make sure that you see unfold, and you are thrilled to see it unfold, Peter, ahead of Super Bowl 59.
You know, it's cool. We've got this story of these two great teams, and maybe the best defensive player in this entire Super Bowl is an unsung hero who actually is going back to a place where he spent the first 4 years of his career. Let's go back to the 2020 NFL Draft for a selection that did not make waves at the time when it was done.
With the 74th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Zach Bond, linebacker, Wisconsin.
A lot of people thought potentially Zach Bond might be a first-round pick. Look, he was a stud for Wisconsin, 32 combined sacks and tackles for losses last year, but he was a high school player of the year as a quarterback at Brown Deer High School in Wisconsin.
All right, the pride of Brown Deer, Wisconsin. Zach Bond was drafted by the Saints, didn't do much in 4 years there, going back to New Orleans where he was drafted, and now he's a Defensive Player of the Year finalist. There are only 5 players who get invited to NFL honors as Defensive Player of the Year finalists, 5 in the entire league. List your top 5 defensive players in the entire sport. The Superhumans. Zach Bond was one of them this year. And here he goes back to a place that did not offer him a contract extension after his rookie contract expired. I think it's one of the coolest stories, and the fact he's going back to the Superdome to play where he played all those home games for 4 seasons and didn't make a dent in the national radar. There's special teams demon Zach Bond. He's now the best inside linebacker in all of football. Zach Bond going back to New Orleans. Super Bowl. Let's go.
All right. I like that one. That's a nice little storyline right there for Zach Bond. That's your guy, man. The one and only. You know, the under the radar storyline for me for Super Bowl 59, I'm excited about this one because he's back. I know, I haven't given a name. I'm talking about this guy, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is sitting there, and this is his Super Bowl. The first time he's sitting there, for the first time we're seeing this guy potentially could be a 3-time back-to-back champion. And you know what? It's not even about him. It's about this guy who's going to be making his 11th Super Bowl appearance. Mr. Tom Brady is going to be calling this game. How cool is that? That the guy that Patrick Mahomes is constantly being compared to is actually going to be on the call, calling this one. It's going to be interesting to hear his perspective. It's going to be interesting to see him watch this history and to hear the fact that he's been in this moment. He understands, maybe not with, you know, obviously the 3 people, but the idea that he is still being in the top, and where he's situationally placed up top, where that's where Patrick Mahomes is trying to get to. So I think that's a cool storyline right there.
Okay, I need a coach's 30 on Whiteboard Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
Those 2 names are perhaps so more on the radar than any other people, like not even just in football. And you referenced the 4 major sports in this first segment of just minutes ago.
Yeah.
What? That's not, nothing about that is under the radar.
It is.
Tell me.
Tom Brady is making his 11th appearance. He's retired. He's back. I made that whole thing up. I had nowhere to go with this, so I created my own thing with it.
Wow.
I created my own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's back.
I got an under the radar one. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Travis Kelce's in a relationship with this pop star, recording artist, and it's no one's talked about it, but she goes to the games sometimes. It's going to be great. So I have I don't have Taylor Swift, but I do a couple things I want to say. First of all, Peter, you said something earlier in the show that's making me nervous now. We're already an under-the-radar storyline.
Empty. The bag is empty.
It's Wednesday. We're 10 days from the game.
Wednesday before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in fact, I think Akbar is actually right. We're supposed to be doing the on-the-radar.
I don't even know if Brady knows who's playing in the Super Bowl yet.
I don't know either.
He hasn't even started.
He's busy.
To prep.
I don't know what we're talking about.
We're that far in advance. Yes. Like, are we emptying the bag a little too early here on Wednesday before Super Bowl week to talk about under the radar?
You know, this was
someone
a hard
at the
one.
marathon who like starts sprinting a 40-yard dash in the first mile. Like, guys, we got to get to 26.2, which is why I was going to say something about.
Save it. We'll do a whole show on it tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the matchup between Quinyon Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, but I changed my answer. Listen, guys, Brown Deer, Wisconsin. This is under the radar. Peter just said it. I changed my answer. Zach Bond, the Defensive Player of the Year candidate, is from Brown Deer, Wisconsin. I want to shout out to whoever it was who named that town. What do you think we should call the town? How about we just call it Brown Deer, because I saw a brown deer. Listen, I spent my entire childhood and summers in Wisconsin. I've been all over Wisconsin. I know Wisconsin well. I have never heard of brown deer, and it's in southern Wisconsin. I've been to Elkhorn. Elkhorn is a town in Wisconsin. I have never heard of brown deer. Apparently it's not even that small. I looked it up. It's got like 12,000 people. That's pretty big. What do you think?
That third bullet that Trey Wingo was going over, that is a pretty cool. I mean, it's not that big an ask. Anyone from Brown Deer, can we get quarterback footage of Zach Bond for our show next week? I would love that.
I would also like to know, Brown Deer High School, is the mascot the Brown Deers?
That's great. That's good.
I want to know more about Brown
Plural or singular?
Great.
There's a lot.
Probably singular. Brown Deer.
The Brown Deer.
Yeah, the Brown Deer.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that he's from there. Just when we thought we had squeezed every drop out of Bond. We're going to be talking a lot of Bond next couple of weeks.
Brown Deer, Brown Deer.
That's exactly right. That's under the radar.
Unfortunately,
Brown cow.
they're the Falcons.
They're the Falcons.
Brown Deer Falcons.
What? Be the Brown Deer. What are you doing? There's no Falcons in Wisconsin like that. Be the Brown Deer.
See, that's under the radar.
Listen, I'm going to go on a tangent.
That's under the radar.
I've always respected these sports mascots in Wisconsin because they're very Wisconsin. Badgers, Bucks, Hackers, Brewers, like drinking beer. The Brown Deer, the Falcons. That's not Wisconsin. I like that. Brown Deer High School. Change it to the Brown Deer when Zach Bond wins the Super Bowl. All right.
So shout out to Gerald McGregory, the school's athletic director. If we could get that footage, that'd be great.
Gerald.
It's Freddie the Falcon, I believe.
Freddie the Falcon.
Freddie the Falcon.
Nice
and so sorry, Brown Deer High School.